Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is yet another Nat lost the plot because he's lost his seat at Parliament and his 91 grand a year plus expenses job. This time it's the turn of Alyn Smith to start his nonsense, right, in the blame game. And this guy, to be fair, this guy does man it in before he opens his mouth, because I think he looks like Craig Whyte, right? And then when he does open his mouth, he actually sounds like him as well. So this guy was always going to find it hard to impress me. But the nonsense that comes out his mouth reaffirms my decision to think he's a crackpot, right? Now, Scottish Daily Express, Douglas Dickey has gone with this one today with the headline, SNP loser Alyn Smith claims election drubbing was a good thing. Aye, he said that. And he blames Michael Matheson and tactical voting. After blowing a huge nominal majority in Stirling and Strathallan, the former fringebencher tried to put a positive spin on the miserable night for the Nats, right? Well, good luck with that, Alyn, or however you pronounce your name, because it looks like Alyn, but it's got a Y in it. So I'm not sure how Alyn becomes Alyn, or how you say it, but I'm calling you Alyn. You're actually doing well, because I used to just call you that twat that looks like Craig Whyte, right? So calling you Alyn, even if it's wrong, is a step up, believe me. So the story goes, excuse me, SNP failure, Alyn Smith, has claimed the Nats losing dozens of MPs is a good thing for the party. Mr Smith was among the former SNP MPs who failed to defend their seat in last week's general election bloodbath. The party plummeted from 48 seats in 2019 to just 9 this time round, greatly diminishing its influence at Westminster. A glum group of Nats led by Stephen Flynn was seen taking their seats in the first session of the new Parliament on Tuesday as he adapted to life on the periphery. And I've done a wee video about that earlier on today. It'll be up here somewhere at the end, right? You'll get a link to it. It's quite funny. The devastating loss saw the SNP drop to being the fourth biggest party in the Commons. It means Mr Flynn has lost his plum spot on PMQs, that's Prime Minister's questions, to Sir Ed Davey and the Liberal Democrats, with the Nats having to rely on a weekly ballot to get a question. Oh dear, diddums to them, eh? But Mr Smith, 50, who blew a huge nominal majority in Stirling and Strathallan, was trying to look on the bright side in a column for the pro-separation paper, The National. He conceded the SNP had to change, but added, the good news is that the electorate has started the job for us. You're not kidding me, right? Because the Scottish electorate definitely gave you a message last Thursday. This bit's brilliant, right? I'll probably need to read this bit twice for it to sink in, right? Because it does sound completely bonkers when you first read it or hear it. Losing third-party status at Westminster is a good thing. It'll free up MPs from pointless busy work and covering events rather than driving our priorities. Now, we've already covered in this story that losing third-party status means you're not guaranteed questions at First Minister's questions. So if that's going to free you up a load of time asking a couple of questions every week, I'm kind of wondering, what else do you actually do? What have you actually been doing down there for 4.5, 5 years, right? Just waiting for First Minister's questions and going, what we're going to do is we're going to ask a dead daft question and get that Penny Mordaunt to absolutely slaughter us, right? Probably the best result you've got this year in the election was Penny Mordaunt losing her seat, because even if you were lucky in the ballot to get a question on a Thursday, she'd just have slaughtered you. But she'll not be there to do that in her party's non-government. So, anyway, I am glad Stephen Flynn has started that process of finding new job specs, right? Oh, sorry, I missed out a bit. We need an entirely new structure for our Westminster group and a new job spec for our MPs. I'm glad Stephen Flynn has started that process. It will also rebalance the party. Holyrood is the centre of our universe, and it is ultimately Holyrood where we win or lose, deliver or die, right? So they're getting new jobs because, well, there's hardly any of them there and they don't get to ask much questions, right? Mr Smith claimed the demise of the Nats had started before the election campaign and blamed tactical voting for the number of defeats, writing, the Scottish electorate is one of the most sophisticated in the world and well able to get what it wants. So if you're right, your penny's dropping that they don't like it up here, right? We just don't like the SNP anymore, and we definitely got what we wanted, and that was shot at use. He couldn't resist continued attacks on opponents, claiming the SNP had failed to offer a roadmap to independence, which allowed Labour and Tories undemocratic unreasonableness to a problem rather than theirs. Well, that's kind of your job in this whole thing, right? If you claim to be the voice of nationalism and the true voice of independence, then that becomes your job, right? And guess what? People that oppose it, it becomes their job to defend it. Now, you talk about undemocratic and unreasonable. You guys suggested that during the last election, if you got 29 seats or more, that would give you the right to have a referendum, when you could actually have done that with about 35% of the vote. There is nothing democratic about that idea, you half-wit. So please don't have pops at other people telling us they're undemocratic. What are they undemocratic about? Not accepting the minority of people. That's actually the complete opposite of undemocratic. That's actually democracy. You're half-wit, right? And he also suggested that the defence of Michael Matheson in relation to his £11,000 iPad bill had been made an issue for the party. Mr. Smith wrote, "Too many people do not believe us when we tell them things are better in Scotland." Well, no wonder, when you're defending a guy that ripped off the Scottish purse. They are unimpressed that we seemed so unresponsive to their genuine criticism and concern, and a crystallisation of this drift, the defence of the indefensible over an iPad bill, because within Holyrood bubble the Tories were being malicious. That was precisely the sort of issue we used to destroy Labour for. Well, of course the Tories were being malicious, because yous were being stupid. The Tories were having a rip-roaring ride at you because you allowed them by defending indefensible. And why did you not do something about it before Thursday? Because this Matheson thing's been going on since November last year. It's been in the public domain since then. So probably safe to say that the SNP knew about it before the public knew in November, right? But your party, which you're a member of, you were an MP for, didn't speak out about it. Didn't speak out about anything being undefensible. When John Swinney et al. Were all just standing, defending, and I think we done it before him as well, Humza, right? See, when Humza started it and John Swinney followed it up, where was this Alyn Smith to tell us this isn't right? No, because you're a 91 grand a year job to protect. Anyway, despite that, he absolved John Swinney for the blame, saying, "Difficult as it is to contemplate, he had not been the leader. I suspect the results could have been worse." Aye, you think so? If he hadn't been the leader, he might have saved you a few. You absolute maniac. So that's the story, right? And I've gave my opinions on it as we went through it. But I just find it incredible that these people want to bolt the door after the horse is bolted. And the biggest thing in that story is this thing about, what's his name? Matheson, right? All these MPs are now suddenly saying, "Oh, that Matheson thing was bad, we shouldn't have defended him." Well, where are we now? July. So we're in month 6 and it happened in November. You're 7 or 8 months too late, right? That was nearly a year ago. None of you opened your mouth. Not one person at the SNP said, "This is undefensible, this. Why are we doing it? Matheson should be sacked." You know, like what the people in Scotland were saying, you know, the people that vote. So you can't wait till the vote's done and then suddenly tell us your party done wrong, because you were chapping doors up to Thursday telling everybody you were great. This party's brilliant. You need to vote SNP. Line 1, page 1, manifesto, independence. There they are, right? That's the shite you were telling us at the doorstep. But now after Thursday, when you get horsed out the door, suddenly, we're not that good after all. And see that Matheson thing? We shouldn't have let that slip. Absolute crackpots, a lot of you. Waiting until you've lost your 95. It tells you everything you need to know, I suppose, doesn't it? That your morals are totally outweighed by your greed. There you are. So, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. But, putting all that aside, the most important thing, as long as you know this Craig Whyte lookalike or any other cranks in the SNP, Everybody else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.